What up, dudes and dudettes? How's it going? It's a wonderful day to be alive, like everyone. So today, I have a couple different things to share, and I don't want to really digress too much and get off subject, but I wrote down a few things that I wanted to talk about. The first one was this Satori I had today. This I like to call it like my morning Satori or whatever, but Satori is the breakthrough a person has, but I use it lightly. It's kind of like a daily Satori. I had this crazy realization when I was at the park, and you know how sometimes you'll have these moments where you look around and things aren't just normal anymore. They're just, I guess, if you've had the experience, you'll know what I'm talking about. To where you question. I guess my best way to put it would be, what the hell is all this? And I was just like, what is this? I was looking at the oak trees and looking at the highway and looking at the grass and all the different things that worked in this perfect cycle, and I was just amazed by it. But all at once it came. It wasn't just like, I'm thinking about what's a tree. It was like, I think the moment came when I questioned death, or like the fear of death in my own mind. I was eating lunch at the park, and all of a sudden it was like, what is death? Is there rebirth? And where did everything come from? Where's the beginning? Where's the end? And I think the thing that really gets me is that even if I could answer the questions, all the questions of life, to why the Manly Hall says that there's a three-part question. It's the big question is a three-part question. Where did we come from? Why are we here? And where in the hell are we going? And that's kind of, the big questions. But that still doesn't answer, how did the first being come into existence? How did the first thing, the Big Bang, if you will, and what was before that? And those questions are the ones that make people just go, fuck it, I'm taking a religion. Because, you start pondering, it's kind of the old joke about, you ask a Christian, what came before God? And they say, there was no before God. God's always been here. It makes sense on a time scale if you don't believe in time, but it still doesn't explain how something could always just be. I've had quite a few people send me personal messages and about Jesus, and I try to be as respectful as possible, but they're long drawn out, almost sob stories sometimes, about how they say, you put out great videos and you have a lot of good thinking. Maybe if you find Jesus, you'll be satisfied and you'll be happy. Basically, like, as if I'm yearning for something and I'm looking for a God or a religion, and I'm not. And that's the thing, is that I just enjoy the life, to live, to be, to exist. This moment, right now, and everything about it, and everybody in it, and everything around me. And I always get it worded in these forms of like, well, hopefully one day you'll find Jesus and you'll know the truth. And I'll say, hey, that's great, I'm glad it works for you. And it'll always be like something like, no, it works for everyone, it's the only way. To answer this bluntly, any religion that outcasts another is garbage to me. And because there is no one answer that can be explained, and I'm getting really tired of people quoting shit out of the Bible saying that it's prophecy. It's prophecy, it's prophesized. Because to me, the Bible is a great work of fiction, but with non-fiction behind it as far as the archetypes and the symbols that it conveys. The Bible is what it's done is it has taken the everyday trials and tribulations of humanity and put it in a symbolic format so all cultures to follow can understand, but only if they're willing to look deeper than the surface words that have been translated and outdated and written after Jesus' time. Jesus was a man who reached enlightenment, in my opinion, in one form or another, but he was no more superior to anyone than you or me. He had just reached a level where he was trying to express that, I guess, that awareness. His teachings were that, hey, everyone has this ability. So anyway, I wanted to get that out there because, I don't need any religious go-get-ems. I'm not into that, and I don't really think that Christianity is conducive to my lifestyle or ever will be. And I know that for a fact. You see, that's the thing. I try to be as open-minded as possible, because when I question the universe, I try to be as open and say, well, people change. People change over time, and people have different views. And I've respected the fact that some people can go their whole life without religion and all of a sudden find it. And they really seem adamant about it, because sometimes people have a discovery or a breakthrough when they're, say, in church or in prayer, something amazing happens. For example, the other day, my back was hurt really bad, and I've had sciatica for 4 years. I was in a really bad way. I didn't even think I'd be able to work anymore. I thought I was just done. And I asked the universe, I said, universe, help me out. I need to feel good again. And I said, I'll try to cure some of my bad ways, making a deal with the devil. But I said, today, the last 2 days, I felt amazing. Like I haven't had this little back pain in like 2 years, and it's crazy, and I know that I've manifested this out of my own desire to heal. Now, if a person had said, please Jesus, heal my back, I'll do anything for you, and then their back healed. Now, there are certain types of people who might take that to say that's a sign. But what about the guy that asks Buddha for help, or the man that asks, Muhammad, or any religion, any belief system, whatever you've had your breakthrough in, that might be one get stuck. And that's fine for everybody who wants to do that, but that's not my deal. We all have our own views of, I guess, what it means to be alive, and I can understand some people's interest in religion, and that's fine. But it's all archetype for me, and I can see no reason to try to instill any of my ways upon a person. So the reason why I know, because I kind of lost track, but I was talking about being open-minded. And I was saying I try to always be open-minded to the fact I could change. Tomorrow I could change. But I really stand by the fact that I will never become a Christian. I just won't. And I know that because my thinking is too beyond that. I hate to say it, but it doesn't exclude anything. And I've never had an answer back from a Christian in a conversation where I've had them be very acceptant and very tolerant, but in the end, every Christian says you have to turn over your life to Christ. Good for you, that works. It's not for me. So, back to the Satori. That's what I was talking about, the universe and this feeling you get where everything is just like, boom, in your face, and you start, when you start questioning deeper than just why am I here? The question I ask is how am I here? And when am I here? And where am I here? I mean, am I everything? Am I everywhere? Am I quantum non-locality shows that, one atom can affect another all the way across the universe simultaneously. So what does that mean? I mean, that means that if we can astral project ourselves, that means we really are not contained in any way within our bodies. So therefore, we don't need to die to ascend to any certain existence or level of being. We're merely incorporated into these meat sacks, these bodies that allow us to experience something different for the universe. And the fear of losing that humanity, that excitement of life, is what a lot of people drives them to go ballistic and either take a religion or take the opposite approach where they take their aggressions out on the world because they don't understand. And I thought today about modern conveniences and how I think it'd be so nice if they didn't, if all this shit just collapsed, this whole system of bullshit. And then I realized that's just my own personal realization. I had at that moment realized that, why do they have to make noise while I'm talking? Hey! No. I'll wait. was just thinking about how I've lived here 10 years and there's never been any construction in my neighborhood. It's pretty cool. I have an established neighborhood from 1964, and it's like a perfect little area. I like it. It's a nice little ranch house. Well, my only thoughts on the well, anyway, I'm not even going to go into that one, but that's it. I can't focus anymore. Too much noise. Peace out.